you chose your heart.
If you're friend, don't make it bend. Take the first step, show them why you're friend.
Have the courage to be real, don't let your fears steal. Power of your feeling, honesty's the best deal.
If you're friend, don't make it bend. Take the first step, show them why you're friend.
And you show your heart, that's when loyalty starts. It will set your brain apart, no one can replace your heart.
Fairy tale marketing, make your brand story sing. Sell your brand with your story, show your customers their glory. Appeal to the heart, that's where memories start. Let them know what you can do to make their happily ever after true. With fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. Fairy tale marketing, it's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing. Fairy tale marketing, make your brand story sing. Sell your brand with your story, show your customers their glory. Appeal to the heart, that's where memories start. Let them know what you can do to make their happily ever after true. With fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. Fairy tale marketing, it's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. It's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. It's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing. Living homeless in a place where I share all the space. I'm grateful for what I've got, but it challenges me a lot. Like finding a place to meet clients so I can get off the street. I've got no money in the bank, can't even put gas in the tank. Walking everywhere in the heat leaves me sweaty, not sweet. I'm striving to do better, it's true, but I don't always know what to do. I've got all this value inside me, but it's not always so easy to help other people see I'm a walking golden opportunity. Today's a new opportunity to change our current society. The help you get today can get things on their way. I don't want a handout, that's not what I'm about. I just need a hand up, a little love to fill my cup. I'm a writer, an artist, and a designer, copywriter, marketer, trainer, and planner. My list of skills runs miles long. You're wondering where I went wrong. I'm in a love-hate relationship with society. I love people, but I don't find it funny the way we value each other by our money. I wish more people could see and agree. Today's a new opportunity to change our current society. The help you get today can get things on their way. I'm not blaming anyone for my choices. Blaming anyone is pointless. I rejected the corporate plantations here, choosing my child's life over my career. I made my fair share of mistakes. I'm no saint, for heaven's sake. I admit I've missed a lot of opportunities due to my fears and insecurities. But my current financial condition is at least in part due to my mission to put people over profits in life, accepting that this will cause me strife. Today's a new opportunity to change our current society. The help you get today can get things on their way. I've spent decades searching for truth, breaking free free of lies I believed in my youth. I'm no longer eager to participate in a system designed to discriminate. I guess what I'm trying to communicate is that this doesn't have to be our fate. Our greatest investment is in one another, valuing each person as a sister or brother. Each person is a gold mine of opportunity. If you know how to find it, it's easy to see. We can end a system of monetary slavery. Working together, we can all be free. Today's a new opportunity to change our current society. The help you give today can get things on their way. Let's create a human development investment group. Working together, we can begin to recoup the value of each member of society, so we can all achieve prosperity. Real estate brings profits, true, but there are limits to what it can do. And it leaves people homeless too. Real estate value can only grow when people have money to show. Infinite possibilities exist inside every human, though they hide. It takes a little effort to find, but once you do, it'll blow your mind. This is your opportunity to change our society. The help you give today can get things on their way.
Oopsie. Gotta remember to turn things off and turn things on. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is time for writing and chatting. Now, I put a poll in there, and yes, we are going to fulfill that vote. We got a vote that yes, we should start with the reading like we usually do. Didn't know if everybody enjoyed that or not, so just thought I'd put it option. Alright, so chapter 4, To the Hotel. This is where we left off in our last episode. And hello, Timothy Richards. So glad to see you here. The rideshare driver arrived prepared, pulling out a sheet of plastic to throw over the upholstery before Mortus took his seat. He hitched the e-bike to the back of his vehicle and tucked Mortus's luggage in the trunk. "There's a towel waiting for you in the center console, sir," the man said. Mortus felt grateful for the attention to detail the man showed. It was the only bright side in an otherwise dismal day. They arrived at the motel on the outskirts of town without any further incident, and Mortus left the man his last $10 as a tip, along with a glowing review. It was the best way he knew to show his appreciation. The hotel attendant looked like an interesting character. Bright pink hair, bubblegum lipstick, black corset, and a white blouse over bright pink pants and black combat boots. The gender wasn't entirely clear to him, but that just meant the attendant would have fit in at any of the concerts Mortus attended in the 80s. "Can I help you?" she, or he, or whatever, asked as he stepped forward. "I've got a room reservation," he said, showing the email printout. The attendant stared at the paper and then began typing into the computer before looking back up. "Yes, I see the reservation. It's too early, I'm afraid, to allow for check-in. However, I'll be happy to let you store your things behind the counter." "No chance of early check-in?" Mortus found his hopes plummeting. All he wanted was to get into the room and relax. The attendant shook its head. "Afraid not, sweetie. We had a full house last night, and it's going to take our girls quite a bit of time to get the rooms cleaned up." "Just my luck," he grumbled. "If you'd like, you can wait out in our little restaurant over there. I'm sure they'll be happy to seat you," the attendant recommended. Mortus thought about his empty wallet and shook his head. "Thanks, but no thanks." He watched as the attendant stored his items behind the counter and then turned to head back outside. The attendant stopped him before he left. "There's a train station just a little beyond here. If you care to go into the city, you can catch a ride." Mortus mumbled thanks. He headed to the train station, not because he intended to go anywhere, but because they offered benches, and the walk was at least something to do. Stomach rumbled, reminding him that it had been nearly 10 hours already since his last meal. Spin rested his head on Mortus's. "Hey, Ubi! Glad to see you here." Spin rested his head on Mortus's, and his silence told Mortus all he needed to know about the monkey's morale. Spin was likely every bit as hungry as he was. He thought about texting Mike to ask for some cash for the road, but felt ashamed to admit that his bank account was about as dry as the Sahara. Streaming wasn't bringing in the money he'd hoped, and his efforts to find work were not panning out. This trip, this mission, was the only thing that had come along in quite some time. The sounds of music and a driving drum beat reached his ears as he drew closer to the station. Intrigued, he sped up his pace. This might just be the best thing to happen to him yet. Even Spin seemed to perk up, chittering a bit at him. There was a large stage just outside the train station with several musicians in costume playing their hearts out. Mortus pulled out his phone to start recording, only to get a notification that it was at 20% charge. Yikes. When in strange places, Mortus learned that a charged phone could be a lifesaver, but his charger was back at the motel. The banner over the stage gave the band's name, Natural Disaster, which Mortus found entirely fitting for the day. He shook his head in amusement. He stayed on the outskirts of the crowd, not moving any closer. The rock ballads blasting from the speakers were enough to drown out the faint sound of tornado sirens in the background. When no one else reacted, he wondered if the sirens were real or just part of the band's sound. That's when his eyes strayed to the skies, and he noticed the telltale signs of a fledgling tornado beginning to form. The dark skies overhead began taking on an eerie green to them, just as Mortus's phone went off with the weather alert. Mortus wondered how many in the crowd closest to the stage could even hear it. He frowned as he started jogging toward the train station. It looked sturdy, built of stone, but nowhere near large enough to handle as many people as were in the crowd. A pang of guilt struck him. If he didn't alert these people to the danger coming and help get as many to the shelter as possible, he'd have to live with the guilt of that. But given how many there were and how little time he had to do anything about it, how could he save? How many could he save? He looked for something that he could use to grab attention, just as a gust of wind tore through the banner on stage and ripped down one of the awnings. Spin screeched and tugged his hair. "I know, little guy, I know. We've got to do something." He decided to grab the attention of a young couple closest to him. He couldn't help everyone, but he could help those closest to him. "Hey, Jeremy, happy Saturday." "There's a storm coming. Head to the shelter." The couple stared at him, uncomprehending, until they looked up at the sky. Their eyes widened and they nodded, running in the direction of the station. Mortus moved toward the next couple. "Spin, grab someone for me." Spin jumped off his shoulder and ran into the crowd, darting where Mortus couldn't go. The crowd in front of him began to clear out as the first fingers of the coming storm approached the ground. There we go. We're going to correct on the fly. The stiff winds snapped tree limbs overhead, and the band stopped playing. Spin and he reunited as the crowd parted, everyone heading in a different direction. Mortus remained on course, fighting against the winds that pushed against him as he moved toward the train station. He should have checked the weather before leaving the motel, he chided himself. Too late for that now. Mortus didn't quite make it to the train station before the wind swept him off his feet and he landed hard on his back. "I'm going to feel that in the morning," he grumbled once he got his breath back. He fumbled for his wallet, desperate for anything to help him, and pulled out the one thing his mother gave him before she died. It was a credit card-sized rosary. She swore by its ability to save you from any crisis, and if there was ever a crisis that needed saving, this was it. It had been a long time since Mortus last recited the rosary, and he could barely remember the prayers, but hastily began reciting them as the sounds of rushing winds blasted his eardrums like an oncoming train whistle. Let's see. Everything around him rocked back and forth, and he felt himself lift into the air. Spin clung to him for dear life, nearly strangling him with the tail around his neck. All right, so that's where we left off, folks. We're on to Chapter 5. We're actually making pretty good headway. Even if we have caught him in the middle of a tornado. And he's still got to get to the point where he can go rescue Hawkeye. He has had a heck of a day. You thought your life was a train wreck? Poor guy, Mortus is having a train wreck of a life moment. Almost literally. Now, we need to figure out what we're doing next. So, we've got him in the air, off his feet. So we need to, oh, I need to close the first poll before I start one. Alright. What happens next, folks? Alright. We got... There we go. There's our three options we got. So we've got what happens next? Mortus and Spin are separated. Mortus and Spin land in a tree. Or the tornado disappears suddenly. Kind of that magic moment when everything seems to be going wrong and then all of a sudden it drops you like a hot potato. We got 1 vote for the Mortis and Spin are separated. 2 votes for Mortis and Spin landing in a tree. Alright. Well, yes, better landing than Oz, that's true. No wizards here. Now, here's where the tricky thing is. When you get them into a problem, you got to be able to figure a way to get them out of it. Without killing them, preferably. At least this early in the story. You know, if he dies a tragic death later, that's one thing. Heroes are allowed to die tragic deaths. But they're not allowed to die stupid deaths. Well, that's a good question. There we go. That's why these are called rough drafts, my friends. They are going to be rough. Almost awake. Oh, told spin. Alright, so we've got him out of the tree. We've got him back on the ground. Tornado's gone. That is a valid point. All right, so now we have a new quiz for everybody. Let's do a new poll. Should the motel be still standing when he gets there? You didn't study. Didn't you know you were supposed to be studying? Two people are nice to him. One person doesn't like Mortus very much. So, there we go. Got him checked in, because apparently they're using old-fashioned keys. You know, I actually had that experience when I went to Germany. They had the literal keys, and you couldn't even take them outside the door. You had to give them back when you left the place and reclaim them when you came back. It was really weird. Let's see. We have now gotten him out of the tree, into the room. Let's see. Next options. Up, order pizza and beer. I think that's a good option. They had a pay-per-view movie. What kind of pay-per-view should he be watching? Pay-per-view action movie. Any ideas on what kind of action movie? What is he particularly watching? Rambo? Old fashioned? New fashioned? Have him binge watch holiday specials. Peanuts, Garfield, Claymation. Oh, nice. Oh, Lordy. We got 100% on that pizza and beer. Pizza, movies, and beer, man. I get you. Company paid for it? Sweet. Oh, we have a slight problem. The pizza, the movie, and the beers require money he doesn't have. Phone call to Mike. Alright. He placed a call to Mike. Dude, you're never gonna believe what's happened to me, he started. Mike listened in silence. You gotta be kidding me. I wish I was, dude. I wish I was, Mortis said. Mike sighed. Let me order you some pizza and some beer. I'll send over our doc and have him look at your foot. I'll put 20 on your account. You can watch some pay-per-view while you wait. Dude, you've just made my day. Only one question. Can you send over some bananas for the monkey? Mortis, Mike chuckled. Yeah, I think I could scrounge up some monkey food. You sure he wouldn't eat pizza and beer? Mortis shook his head. He might, but it wouldn't be good for either of us if he did. Don't ask me how I know. Ooh. Pizza and beer are on their way. The monkey's gonna have food too. And he's gonna get to watch pay-per-view. Apparently we can't spell specials. Yeah, I know, right? Reading about pizza and beer, pizza and beer, pizza and beer, and now suddenly I want pizza and beer. Actually, that is something. I wouldn't mind too terribly. Angry Orchard on tap and a big old pizza. Yeah, that would be nice. But you know what? I can be happy with what I've got at home. Alright. Alright, here's where we get an option. Let's see. So we're going to start another poll. There we go. We got 3 options. Yep, you'd have to order the pizza later. So we've got our 3 options. The doctor can be an old guy who is super cranky, a younger woman who is super hot, or a fan of Mortus who just happens to recognize him. Two votes in. We're waiting for the third. Come on. But they're both 100% the same, so. Alright. We'll end it there. I mean, it's good enough. So far, there was going to be the winning option anyway, so. Free house call. Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah. Free house call for sure. That's not bad. We've actually gotten several pages written of craziness. Mortus managed to get himself down from the tree, back to the motel, into the room, and get a doctor, and get pizza and beer, and get a free house call all at the same time. Oh, hold on just a second. Alright, I like that even better. You know what? I'm curious. Is there such a thing as a portable x-ray? Like, how small can you get them? Yeah, actually. So it's entirely possible. Nice. Good. See, I always like it when my storytelling lines up with what's actually possible in real life. That's the best kind of storytelling. Then I don't have to go back and fix it later on. Look at these portable mobile, and that is something you need to know about storytelling. Is if you don't know, go find out. Don't be lame. Don't guess. Guess in your initial rough draft, but be sure you go do your homework and find out. Yeah, I didn't see Malachi today. I don't know where Will is either. I haven't seen him. But I appreciate the company that did keep with me here. It could be that they're doing something. They may be busy. So we've done a good job. In less than an hour, we've managed to create quite a twist on our stories and made me hungry and thirsty. Which Ruby and I are going to have to fix. But it's okay. I know where we can get cheap pizza and good beer. Oh my goodness. Maybe some pay-per-view. Oh lordy. That'd be the rough equivalent of Amazon, I guess. So yeah. Let's see. Now that we've gotten portable x-ray dude coming back, we'll start next chapter with that. That's true. They probably do have pizza and beer. Maybe that's what there's keeping them near. Alright, so next chapter we will start with what he's going to do. Because when you've got broken toes, there's really not a lot they can do for them. Except tape them and let them heal. And they'll put kind of a splint around the top of the foot to keep it from fracturing. I know this from experience because I actually did jump out of a tree with no shoes on when I was in 5th grade. I had shoes when I was climbing the tree, but the shoes got eaten by the tree. They wedged in too tight into the little wedges of the tree, and I couldn't get them out, so I had to take them off. And then my sister wouldn't help me because she had warned me that if I went back up the tree one more time, she wasn't going to help me get down this next time. So she wasn't going to help me. So I had to jump, and it landed wrong on my left foot and broke 4 toes. It was stupid, it was a stupid tax. That's what you pay the price for when you do something stupid. You pay a stupid tax. And that was my stupid tax, was 4 broken toes. So that's where the idea came from. And yeah, my sister didn't think I'd actually broken my toes because I could wiggle them. But the ER doctor said no, being able to wiggle your toes is just a sign that you don't have nerve damage. It has nothing to do with whether or not you've broken your toes. All right, we are going to call that a really good stream. Thank you guys for participating. Yes, my sister was sometimes quite mean, but to be fair to her, I was also quite obnoxious to her as a kid. Basically, I had been really close to my sister when I was young, and then my mother, when she was 8, decided that my sister and I needed to be separated. She decided we were too close together, and so she kind of drove a wedge between me and my sister in order for my older sister to start branching out and finding friends closer to her age, which was probably good for my sister. And but it really hurt me. And then after that, my sister didn't really want to have much to do with me, and so I did what a lot of kids do. My way of getting back at my sister was to, if she wasn't going to pay attention to me for good reasons, I was going to make sure she'd pay attention to me because I was a jerk to her. So she was left in charge of us a whole lot and had to babysit us constantly. And so whenever she would babysit, I would make a point to make her life miserable by getting into trouble as much as possible so that she would get into trouble when Mom got home. And at any rate, so there was not a lot of love lost. She did not have a lot of cushy, kind feelings toward me for good reason. Yeah, I can understand missing your sister. Mine's still alive, but the rift has never been healed. Still to this day, which I find sad. I would happily, amend and repair the relationship, but it takes 2 to do that, and I can't force the situation. So, but at any rate, yeah, I was kind of an obnoxious little brat when I was growing up to her. Because of my, let my hurt feelings take the lead. Oh, 14 siblings from your parents, 7 marriages. Wow, that's a lot of siblings from a lot of marriages. Yikes. Sorry about that, Jeremy. My parents collectively married 5 times. My dad married 3 times. My mom married my dad married 4 times. I correct myself. My mom was his 3rd marriage. My stepmother, the one that killed him, was his 4th marriage. And then my mom married twice. So once to my dad and then once to my stepdad. And then she kind of decided later, you know what? I'm not that good at picking guys. I'm just going to quit on the whole marriage thing. That does suck. Yeah, that would be hard, you know, when you've had somebody be part of your life from the very beginning and then suddenly they're not there anymore. That would be really hard. I can only imagine what that's like. It's kind of like, I don't know. I have a younger brother, and he and I weren't fraternal twins, but because he was born when I was 18 months old, it was almost like that. He and I were really close growing up. Not so much as adults, but that's another story for another time. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out, for joining, for participating. You have really shaped this story into what it has become. And yes, it's a little crazy, but I actually like it better when it gets crazy. So hopefully you enjoyed your time here. Hopefully I will see you back. I do have... Oh! Hey! Good to see you, Malachi. We were just talking about you the other day. Or not the other day, just like 10 minutes ago. What am I talking about? We were wondering where you were at. Yeah. But at any rate, thank you guys for showing up, for being part of this, for participating. You guys make it worth doing. I write anyway, but it's always nice when I have participating help with the writing. It makes life more interesting. And I hope to see you on Monday when my next stream is. We'll be doing drawing and chilling like usual. We'll be working on the bull this time because we finished our angel finally. We'll be working on the bull, and once the bull is done, we'll be dropping in the Techno Savior himself into the picture. So, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Hope to see you Monday, and we'll have a great day.